Today's lesson is titled Comparing Numbers. Your content objective, or what you're going to be able to do by the end of the lesson, is I will compare whole numbers through hundred thousands. So we're going to be able to look at numbers by the end of this lesson up to numbers that have a number in the hundred thousands place and be able to compare them. And when we talk about the word compare, I'm talking about if one is greater than, less than, or equal to the whole number. With your shoulder partner, I'd like you to discuss the following problem. Suppose I have a group of 1,345 pence, so 1,345 pence, and a group of 1,380 pence. How can you use place value blocks and a place value chart to find which group has more? Now, some of you might be able to look at the numbers and be able to tell right away which one is more. But the question is asking you, how can you use place value blocks and a place value chart to find which group? So you need to be able to explain to me why one number is bigger than the other. In your notes, I'd like you to write the vocabulary word compare. Compare means which number is greater and which number is less. So when I ask you to compare two numbers, that is what I'm asking you to do. There are three different symbols that we're going to use when we talk about numbers and we're comparing them. The first one is the less than sign. The less than sign, the small end is pointing to the smaller number. So we're saying this symbol means less than. Also, you've learned in the past that the big end, you can think of this as a alligator and it eats the bigger number. That's another way to think of it. The second symbol is the greater than symbol. Again, the small end is pointed to the smallest number. The large open end is pointed to the large number. And the last symbol is the equal sign. So if you're comparing numbers, they could be equal, and we would put the equal sign in between. Go ahead and glue this place value chart into your notes. We're going to use this to help us compare numbers. We're going to use this chart to compare the numbers that I asked you to compare earlier with your shoulder partner. So the first number was 1,345, and I have lined them up in the correct place value spot. For example, the 5 is in the ones place, so I put that in the ones place. The 1 was in the thousands place. The other number was 1,380. When comparing numbers, you want to look at the largest place value first. You can easily see which one is larger. For example, in this one, the thousands place would be, the thousands place is the largest place value, but if you look at the two numbers, they are exactly the same, so you cannot compare them yet. The second one is in the hundreds place. Again, if you look at that, they are exactly the same, so we cannot compare yet. So we keep moving down. Now we go to the tens place. Now the tens place, we have a 4 and we have an 8. So if all you need to do is you look at the 4 and the 8 and we compare them. Which one is larger? Well, the 8 is larger, so we use the greater than sign. So we now know that 1,345 is less than 1,380 just by looking at the tens place. You don't even need to look at the ones place because the tens place automatically tells you that this number right here is larger. If you just looked at the ones place, you would have seen 5 and a 0. Well, 5 is larger than 0, so you would have gotten an incorrect answer by telling me that this particular number was larger than this one if you only looked at the ones place. So it's important that you first look at the largest place value. Now with your shoulder partner, I'd like you to use the same place value chart, and I'd like you to answer the following question. How can you use a place value chart to compare 32,473 and 32,375? I'd like you to use the place value chart to write both of these numbers in and compare them and be able to tell me why one number is larger than the other. So if we write the numbers in the place value chart, I'm going to go ahead and do that. That's 32,473. The second number was 32,375. Now again, we're going to start in the largest place value spot. So we're going to start in the 10,000 spot. Well, if we compare the 3 and the 3, we can't compare the numbers yet because they're both the same. So we keep moving down. The thousands place both has a 2 in it. So again, we cannot compare yet. Now we get to the hundreds place. The hundreds place, we have a 4 and a 3. So all we need to do is compare 4 to 3. Well, 4 is greater than 3. So now we know that 32,473 is greater than 32,375 just by looking at the hundreds place. We don't even need to look at the tens place or the ones place. Again, if we had started in the ones place, we would have seen a 3 and a 5, and we would have noticed that the 5 is larger than 3. And then we would have said that 32,375 was larger, when actually 32,473 is larger. So it's very important that you first take a look at the largest place value spot and then move your way down, and do not look at the ones place first.